Right, we're now going to have a look at the validation. So the coding is going to get harder from here. What we want to do is to check that the user has entered everything they should have entered before they're allowed to continue, before they can save the question. So if, for example, they haven't entered their question, or they haven't put in 4 possible answers, or if they haven't selected the correct answer, then we're going to do some validation. We're going to give the user a message, indicate to them that something is wrong, before they're allowed to continue. Right. The important thing is when this happens. So in the previous video we did some code on the form load. So when the form was loading, we filled up the combo box, we set up the tooltips to help the user. That was fine. We can't do the validation on form load even, because when the form loads, the user hasn't done anything. So if we validate, then of course the user hasn't entered anything. I don't think the user will appreciate being told they've done nothing at that point. So we need to do it when the user has entered something. There are different ways of doing this. There's different events that we could use. A simple way to do it is when they click the save button. So when they click save question, we're going to do a check that everything's been entered. So I'm going to double click on my button. The most sensible event is click, is button save click. If you want to try something else, you could do that. But this will work. So if you're a little bit unsure, it's best to do it this way. Right, I'm going to do the validation for the text box new question, and then you can have a go at some other validation. Right. We want to do this when the button's clicked, that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is first of all create a variable. I'm going to call it valid question. I'm going to set it as Boolean, and I'm going to assume that the user has done it correctly. This isn't particularly useful right now. This will be useful when we're doing lots of validation. So when we've done validation for more than just one text box. This is what we will use to keep track of whether everything's okay or not. So don't worry too much about it, but what you might notice is it's exactly the same as the console application. You did console application, if you'd created a variable, it's the same. Dim, same keyword, same data types, same syntax, same way of writing it. Right, now what we want to do is we want to say, well, if the text box that has the new question is empty, we want to display a message. So the way to do that is to say if, now the text box is called new question, the property that holds the text that's been entered into the box is called text, and we can also get the length of that. So we use length when we were doing console application. It works the same way. That will tell me how long the text is that's been entered into the new question text box. I'm going to say, well, if that's 0, then I'm going to do something. And what I'm going to do is to say, well, that text box, I'm going to set the back color to be equal to the color red. So that should indicate to the user that something's wrong. The box should go red. They should start thinking something bad's happening. The next thing I want to do is to set the message at the bottom of the screen to be you've got a problem. What do they call it? TS user message. So TS user message dot text will be no question entered. If you look at the Word document, the Word document also shows you a way of displaying a message in a message box. Have a play with that, have a go with that. I'm not going to go into it because I prefer this method. Have a go with it, and you can ask if you have any problems. The final thing I need to do is then say, well, the question is not valid because there is no question, so it can't be valid. So if they don't enter any text, make it red, display a message to the user saying no question entered, unvalid question equals false. If that's not the case, if I have entered some text, well, in that case, I'm going to say text new question back color equals color dot white. I'm also going to set the TS user message dot text. I'm going to set that back to what we had before, entering, and I'm going to say, well, that question is true now, so no problem. Well, no, let's skip that. We don't need that. We don't need it. Oh, let's get rid of that for the time being. Why is that? Okay, so there we have some simple validation. Let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so let's say I haven't entered any text here and I click the Save Question button. What should happen is this box should go red and this text down here should say no question entered. I've clicked the button. There we go. It's got a red background. Obviously something's wrong, and the message down here says no question entered. If I go back and type in my question, what color is the sun, and then click Save Question, it accepts it. That becomes a white background. That goes back to saying entering. So our code works. That's good. Right. What you need to do now is have a go at the other possible validation. So on here you need to validate Combobox. You need to make sure that they've selected one of the options. Now that's not particularly easy. You'll need to have a look at the different properties of Comboboxes. If you type out the Combobox name followed by a full stop, you'll see a list. Have a play with it. If you really struggle, that's fine. The next video will go through an answer. But hopefully you can have a go at that. Certainly these text boxes you can have a go at. Now these aren't individual. Well, I suppose they can be. You just, if any of them are empty, then there's a problem. So you can have a look at that. If any of those are empty, display a message. Same with the radio buttons. One of these radio buttons needs to be selected. Don't worry about the difficulty. We're not too worried. That has to have a value set. It's by default it will be a number 1. We're not too worried. Now this isn't fantastic validation. It's fairly limited. For example, if I type a single letter into my question, it will accept it. At the moment, that's fine. We're not trying to be too clever at the moment. But see if you can validate the combo box, the 4 answer boxes, and the correct answer radio buttons. Have a go at that. The next video will look at some answers, and you can check whether you got it right or not.